Final Cut Pro 11 is finally here, and it now supports spatial video editing. But here is the real question. Is it actually better than DaVinci Resolve 19.1, or is Apple's shiny new update falling short? Again, in this video, I will show you how to capture great spatial video with my iPhone 16 Pro Max professional studio rig right here, and then use that real-world footage to edit step by step on my M4 Max MacBook Pro in both Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve. You will learn advanced 3D editing techniques in both software, and we will compare cost, ease of use, speed, and final result on the Apple Vision Pro to find out a clear winner. Oh, and there's one big problem no one is talking about, so stick around to find out what it is. If you are serious about saving time and getting the best result in spatial video editing, this is the video for you. Let's dive in. Shooting spatial video on the new iPhone Pro Max is super easy, and it even comes with 4-channel spatial audio for incredible immersive sound. First, go to your setting, tap on camera, then record sound, and make sure spatial audio is turned on. Next, open the camera app, swipe to spatial mode, and you can capture both spatial photo and videos. Just tap here to switch to spatial video. It's really simple with minimal settings. Just exposure adjustment. Here's one super important tips. Keep your camera orientation consistent. Don't shoot one video upright and another upside down. If you do that, the Hugh lens will flip in the MV HEVC metadata, and you will need to use the swap eye button in Final Cut Pro to fix the left and right eyes alignment. It's an easy fix, but you can save yourself the hassle by always keep the camera control button right here facing up and the volume button facing down, like so.
And never do this. You cannot get too close to the subject in 3D filmmaking unless you want your viewer cross-eyed and hate you.
For better image quality and a more cinematic look on your iPhone spatial video, I recommend two accessories. The ND-CPL filters. I'm using the SamMac Hybrid ND-PL filter. This combines a neutral density filter for smooth cinematic motion blur in daylight and a polarizer to remove reflection from water and glasses. Your shot will look much cleaner and more professional. Plus, SamMar's clip-on mount is the only one I found on the internet that works perfectly for both lenses. Second, a solid grip with Bluetooth camera trigger. Keeping your iPhone sturdy and level is key to creating that comfortable spatial video for Apple Vision Pro. I use SamMark Creator Grip right here. It's an affordable, made in San Diego, and has 2 cold shoot mounts for adding a light or an external microphone. It even supports tripod mounting, which is how I shoot most of my spatial video to avoid making viewer motion sick. You don't need this exact grip, but look for one with those features. The third accessory I recommend is a great audio device. I use the new Rode Wireless Micro. It's the size of an AirPod, super lightweight, and delivers excellent sound quality. It has 2 microphones, perfect for interviews or vlogging in spatial video. Plus, the audio gain assist ensures my audio never clips, which is a lifesaver. I tried the DJI new Mic Mini, but I think Rode just sounds a little bit cleaner on the top end. One question I get a lot is, should you use an external SSD for spatial video filmmaking? Here's the deal. For ProRes video, I use the DigiAir 1TB magnetic safe SSD right here. It's great for 4K 120 frames per second recording, but unfortunately, you cannot use an external SSD for spatial video, only ProRes. It's a frustrating limitation, and I really hope Apple adjusts this, either by adding ProRes spatial video or removing that restriction entirely. So now you're ready to go out and shoot some incredible spatial video. AirDrop your footage onto your MacBook Pro, and in the next part, we will dive into editing. Final Cut Pro 11 workflow. If you don't have an iPhone 15 Pro or 16, no worries, we have got you covered. You can download a library of MV HEVC spatial video sample, including some film on my Apple Vision Pro featuring Kimchi, free with love. Don't forget to give Kimchi a thumb up for his hard work. I usually upload my spatial video directly to iCloud Drive, which syncs seamlessly to my Mac. Keep in mind, spatial video editing is only support on Apple Silicon Mac, not PCs. What I'm using here is the latest M4 Max MacBook Pro. It's a powerful machine, but honestly, it struggles with really demanding tasks like 16K immersive 180 video editing. If you are thinking about upgrading, I would hold off until the M4 Ultra Max Studio come out next year. Now, let's dive into Final Cut Pro 11. Starting by dropping all your spatial video into the library. You can create a dedicated spatial video project, but I found it easier to create a project directly from your footage. Right-click on the clip of Sleepy Kimchi right here and select New Project. Final Cut Pro will automatically detect the resolution, frame rate, and even set the hero's eye for you. It's already set to spatial and stereo 3D. If you are using an iPhone 16 Pro Max, make sure to change the audio setting from stereo to surround so you can edit spatial audio. Hit OK. Now, if your preview window only shows the hero eyes, you will want to enable the side-by-side view. Click View, go to Show Stereoscopic View As, and select both eyes. This is crucial for checking color grading, visual effects, and transition to avoid left and right eye mismatch. You can also switch to anagram monochrome mode, just like in Adobe Premiere, and use an red and blue 2D glasses to check depth. Editing spatial video in Final Cut Pro is just like editing any 2D video. You can trim, cut, and add transition. Here's where Final Cut Pro 11 shine: the AI color grading tool. Click Enhance Light and Color, and it will automatically balance exposure and match color for both eyes. No extra color gradings needed. It's super convenient. For spatial audio, switch to surround mode in the audio tab. You'll be able to hear spatial sound movement if you are using it at AirPod Pros. Unfortunately, as for now, Final Cut Pro doesn't support rendering in Dolby Atmos spatial audio. So full spatial audio isn't possible on the Apple Vision Pro yet. We will update you when this is changed. So don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram for the latest updates. Mixing spatial footage from different cameras. Apple advised against mixing spatial video from different cameras. But in reality, creators should embrace all the tools at their disposal to craft compelling stories. Every camera, every format has a purpose in storytelling. So let's bring in some square spatial video footage from my Apple Vision Pro and see how it enhances our narrative. Final Cut Pro 11 handles this seamlessly as long as you set the spatial conform type to fill. Here is a pro tip. Avoid creating black bars at all costs. Using Fit mode will introduce black bars, which is bad for Vision Pro. Stick to Fill mode and ensure everything stays immersive. When editing Vision Pro POV footage, handheld objects like my iPhone 16 right here can sometimes look way too 3D or pop out too much. You can adjust this using the convergency value. Negative values pull object closer to the viewer out of the screen, while positive value push them deeper into the frame. Always keep auto scale enabled to avoid introducing black bar when resizing. Depth is a storytelling tool that creators can use to focus their viewers' attention and guide their experience. Now, here's an extra tip that only comes with years of 3D editing experience. Keep the points of focus at a consistent depth between cuts. For example, like right here, our focus is on the tasty cooking shrimp to tell a story about adventure food in Taiwan. The next cut is sashimi on fire and other adventure food in Taiwan. But this time, the sashimi is closer in depth than the shrimp. To maintain depth continuously, we will push the sashimi slightly into the screen by increasing the conversion value to around 1.8. See how the depth now feels more natural? This small adjustment keeps your viewer's eye from having to consistently refocus, ensuring a smooth and more immersive viewing experience. Converting 2D video into 3D spatial. You can even convert 2D footage into spatial video using Final Cut Pro 11. For example, when picking a clip, choose a video with nothing close to the camera. In general, anything more than 20 meters away has no noticeable 3D depth. That makes this jump establishing shot from R's list perfect for this conversion. Download the clip and bring it onto the timeline right after the sashimi shot. Now switch to anagram monochrome mode and you will notice the preview looks all great. This indicates there's no depth in the footage yet. To add depth, we will push the footage slightly into the frame by increasing the convergency value to about 0.4. Make sure auto scale is checked to maintain proper framing. Now look at that. You see 3D now. It's that easy to give flat footage a sense of dimension and make it more seamlessly in your 3D spatial video. This is how simple it is to convert two-dimensional video into 3D spatial using the latest Final Cut Pro 11. DaVinci Resolve users, don't worry. You can do all of this and more in version 19.1. Keep watching because we will cover all that next. Adding 3D text and graphics. Next, let's add some graphic, text, and even logo to our spatial video. To start, press Ctrl and T to add a text layer above the kimchi footage. Let's pick a cool 3D style, like this retro Chinese text style, and type in kimchi. Once you have got your text, turn on cell shadow to make it pop a little bit more. Now, here's where things get interesting. The text we just created is sitting at the screen depth with 0 parallax, meaning it's flat and doesn't have any 3D depth. But kimchi is in front of the screen, creating what is called a stereo conflict. It feels off because the text and kimchi aren't properly layered in 3D space. The fix is simple though. To make the text sit in front of kimchi, we just need to adjust the convergency value. Increase it gradually while wearing your 3D glasses to check the alignment. This way, you can make sure the text moves forward into the correct 3D space. When the text is positioned correctly, play the video to double check. Perfect. Kimchi is now running behind the text and everything looks balanced in 3D space. That's how easy it is to add text and graphic that truly feel like it's part of your spatial video. Rendering your spatial video. Once your masterpiece is ready, it's time to render. Go to Share and select Apple Vision Pro MV-HEVC. The default settings are great for most cases, but if you grade it in HDR, like fully shot on the Canon R7 with the spatial lens, make sure to choose MV-HEVC 10-bit for HDR output. One of Final Cut Pro weaknesses is that it doesn't let you customize the compression ratio and bitrate. This means your render file might not have the same high quality as professional workflow in DaVinci Resolve, which give you more control over bitrate and file size. This is something to keep in mind if you are aiming for that absolute best quality. However, Final Cut has a big strength when it comes to workflow. You can render your spatial video directly onto iCloud Drive. This makes it incredibly easy to sync with your Apple Vision Pro without needing to airdrop or manually transfer files. It's a seamless experience that saves you time and keep your content ready to view on your Apple Vision Pro right away. So, put on your Apple Vision Pro and enjoy your final result. DaVinci Resolve 19.1 workflow. We have already covered how to edit spatial video in DaVinci Resolve in the previous in-depth tutorial right here. With the latest update, it's now easier than ever to work with spatial video shot on the iPhone 15, iPhone 16, and Apple Vision Pro. Let me show you. First, you no longer need to use Mike Swanson command line tool or the left and right folder workflow to import spatial video. Simply drop all your spatial video clips into the master bin and Resolve will automatically detect them as 3D, labeling them with a 3D tag right here. Next, create a project based on your spatial video footage. This will give you a 3D timeline. make sure to set your timeline resolution to 1920 by 1080, which match the size of iPhone spatial video. For mixing footage, set mismatch resolution to center crop with no resizing. This works similarly to the fill mode in Final Cut Pro 11, letting you mix Vision Pro footage with iPhone footage seamlessly. Once that's set up, you can edit just like you would in Final Cut Pro. Here's an extra tips I forgot to mention in the Final Cut Pro session. Resetting your viewer's 3D focus. When transitioning between location, I recommend adding a fade to black between clips like this. Black mimics a natural blink of our eyes, giving your viewers a fresh 3D perspective for the next scene or the next location change. It also gives their eyes a brief reset, creating a smoother and more immersive experience inside Apple Vision Pro. Now, let's jump over to the color page and select the 3D tab. Here, you will see a similar viewing option to Final Cut Pro 11. I usually use Anagraph black and white so I can wear 3D glasses to check depth. As with the Final Cut Pro session, we need to adjust the depth in the sashimi scene to match the shrimp scenes before. First, very important, lock the left and right eyes together by clicking these link icons. Then adjust the convergency value when wearing your nerdy 3D glasses to check the 3D. For this scene, a convergency value around -21 creates a very comfortable depth within 3D glasses. If you don't link the convergency value, adjusting it will not scale the footage correctly, which create black bar on left and right, as you can see right here. Black bars are very bad for playback on Vision Pro, so always make sure to lock your left and right eyes for all operations. Notice the table in this shot? There's a very minor vertical disparity causing slight eye strain. This footage was shot on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. In general, the iPhone 16 Pro Max right here capture more accurate 3D, but this is something you might encounter if you are using older hardware. This is one of those things you only notice with extensive 3D shooting experience. And that's why you should follow this channel and Kimchi, the most knowledgeable 3D dog on the internet. To fix it, you will need the paid version of DaVinci Resolve Studio, as the magic happens with the stereo alignment tool right here. Try both alignment options to see which work best for your shot. In this case, the 3D Q alignment gives strange result, but the 2D alignment works beautifully. Now, the vertical disparity is gone and the footage is perfectly level. This feature alone makes DaVinci Resolve Studio stand out as a better choice than Final Cut Pro 11 for spatial video editing. Yes, Resolve Studio is not free, but it's the same price as Final Cut Pro 11. So I will still call Resolve the winner here. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I have already covered text and graphic insert and stereo color grading in my earlier DaVinci Resolve spatial video workflow right here. So feel free to check that out if you need more details. Finally, let's render your project. Go to Render page and select QuickTime as the format with H.265 as the codecs. Under Render Stereo 3D, choose both ISMV HEVC. For quality, set it to restrict to 40,000 kbps to achieve a much higher quality render compared to Final Cut Pro 11. Just keep in mind though that the file size will be larger, so it's a trade-off between quality and storage. Add your project to the render queue, hit render all, and you are done. At the time of recording, there is a noticeable performance differences between Final Cut Pro 11 and DaVinci Resolve on the M4 Mac. Rendering in Final Cut Pro is slightly faster, and during live preview playback, you will see DaVinci Resolve struggle a bit during the first seconds, while Final Cut Pro playback smoothly without dropping any frames. We suspect this is because DaVinci Resolve isn't yet fully optimized for the latest M4 chip, whereas Final Cut Pro, being Apple's own software, is clearly designed to take full advantage of it. So if performance is a top priority for you, we recommend stick with the Final Cut Pro, at least for now. You might be wondering, what about immersive 180 video? can Final Cut Pro 11 handle footage shot on the Canon R5 Mark II, R5C, or the R7 with Dual Spatial Lens? And how does Resolve 19.1 stack up? There are any new improvement to its already excellent VR warranty workflow? Don't worry, we have got all of that covered in our upcoming tutorial. The next one is all about Canon R7 with the new spatial lens. And trust me, you wouldn't want to miss that one. If you are new to the channel, Kimchi would really love it if you subscribe. He got plenty of shenanigans to show you. And hey, we don't just make 3D tutorial. We are also behind some of the highest quality spatial film on Apple Vision Pro. Check out our app, Spatial Film, right here on the App Store to experiencing it for yourself. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next tutorial or inside Spatial. Ciao.